If there's one thing about me, I love my Geminis. Might even be because I have my Venus in Gemini, so I have a real love for them. Here are the things I listed for Gemini archetypes, what I kind of try to embody for this sun season. Gemini for me is in my 9th house. 9th house is the area of spiritual education, philosophy, studying, expanding horizons, and external perceptions. That one I want to say is really interesting. Looking back now at the end of the month, I was trying to combat a lot of taking external perception personal. A significant illumination during this month was the Sagittarius flower moon. I like to take note of the significant full moon happening in the sun season because it gives a highlight to a different area that I'm working on at the same time. Similar signs in two of those areas, that's very potent for you. Or if you have a lot of opposing ones, which is me, it shows like a lot of different areas happening or like changing, having a spotlight, and it's something for me to just be aware of. I like doing that. Ever since taking note of it, something about it works for me. Sagittarius is in my 3rd house. 3rd house highlight of my communication, the way that I observe and perceive things, the way I intellectualize. Unevolved Sagittarius energy is impatience, overbearing in knowledgeable movement. Imagine someone full of energy all the time and they just want to share like so many things with you all at once, and they don't even really want to hear what you want to say, but they just like have all this information that they want to share constantly. Like that's an unevolved Sagittarius to me. Within my communication space, I do have moments of really quick and constant communication, especially when it's about things I like or I think I'm knowledgeable of. Really me wanting to share everything I learned right away as well. Like it even goes down to me learning about something and instantly wanting to post about it on social media. That awareness alone did something to my ego. Spiritual community I was part of, there was someone who is a Sagittarius. They kept interrupting everyone with anything they could think of to add on to what they want to say to the other person, and it happened to every topic, to every person. This is a lot. And then it was just so crazy because I'm like, I know I don't do it all the time, but I definitely do it. This is why awareness is so fun and so good. It hurts a little bit to your ego, but you know, long term, some cute little notes that I wrote about people with Gemini in the 9th house Geminis. Education and attaining information is very in the house of philosophy, but with the energy of Gemini and the archetype of it just being that unfiltered information flow, having that and then be part of your philosophy, this shows that you have an endless love for learning. I also wrote thirst for knowledge, temper, subject variety. There were very nice things that happened during this month that I would like to share. This is my main altar. I created a separate altar for my intellectual focus. This will also be used more within the day. I do use this more often in the nighttime. Want to have something to help me focus with video editing, my writing, things that will like keep me stuck on the screen. Actually imbue and add on Athena's energy. For those who know, you know, goddess of wisdom. Notice that messages flowed through me so much easier, and I think it's because I finally admitted I receive messages. I've been living in this way intentionally for a year, but my whole life, when I really look at it, has been a very divinely guided life, I could say. That's what it is. Oh, okay. And I'm just talking out loud to myself a lot more too. I'm finding more clarity in that. Even if I post it or not, just me talking out loud and watching myself do it, so I record myself doing this, is super nice. And if I'm in a fit of rage, shows me what it is. Instead of ruminating it and repeating like the frustrating words and the, you know, adding on fuel to the fire, I actually make myself say my desired outcome now. Even if I'm angry on the inside and I don't feel it yet, like I know part of like a huge part of manifestation is feeling it to make it. But when I'm in that state, for me personally, what works is, okay, I need to start saying some other things to get me out of this mode. It's so easy for me to spiral downwards. It's so easy for me to get stuck in the negative and stuck in the unworthiness. Honestly, it's a little bit of a default that I'm trying to work through. Now I'm trying to combat that by when I'm mad, when I feel like kind of lack or anything, I say I have everything I need. I am taken care of. I am taken care of. I'm being taken care of. I have help. I have support. I don't make myself say I have $1 million. Like, it's not to say that I don't believe it, but I try to say believable things to slowly wage my way into those things. In that feel-good state, I do say those way bigger desires. It's a understanding my own energy flow and giving grace. You know, I don't want to force myself all the time because I know I am an optimistic person. So interesting. I know I'm an optimistic person who defaults into sadness very easily. I've just had a very sad upbringing, but I've known to be a very bubbly person. I know a lot of people can relate to that. Even when I get woken up in the middle of the night, I start to pull divination too to see why. My iPhone storage thing just went off. That's been happening every day. I need a hard drive. I got a couple new journals. I got this little beauty. This one, pattern graphic, the way I manifest. Yes, basically. This is also partly a dream journal, a crystals journal, which is really beautiful. Talks about crystals and things. Each week I will write about a crystal I just want to focus on. This is where I would want to write my dreams and like other notes. I write synchronicities and other things here. This is also a daily journal, like day to day, but I'm actually turning this into like a weekly one where I just write 1 page a week until I watch things evolve and grow. I got this at a beautiful metaphysical store. And look at the sides. It's so pretty. This one here I got from the dollar store. I really want to put my business ideas all in one place. It's written in my phone, but I just want to write it. Like, there's something about me enjoying writing things, okay? I like to record things. I like to record things on my phone too, like quick, fast thoughts. But if they're starting to be like a continuous thing I want to build on, I'd rather like physically see it all the time. It makes a difference for me, okay? The same way where I prefer reading actual books instead of reading on Kindle. My business ideas. I have a few. Also want to see it evolve and grow. When I realized I'd be caught up in the next blessing, I would remind myself that everything I'm doing right now in this stagnancy is building my vocational skills. It's my devotional work. I don't show on camera. That's more private, but it is something I want to do as a career. While I'm learning more, building more, and just strengthening that routine, that's what I'm grateful for being here. Wouldn't have known any other place for me to have even do this or even become like this, enjoy this full outside of me that I feel like has been hidden forever. No one has ever known in my school life that I enjoyed esoteric things because I learned to mask really young. I just felt like that kind of stuff was scary to people. Now it feels like I'm coming back into myself in a really beautiful way. I feel a lot of wrinkles when I do this. I look like those like wrinkly dogs. At least they're cute. Alongside with taking external perception less personal, when I do feel like I get triggered by it, because I'm human, I instead say, because I'm also a Scorpio moon, I transmute this negative energy into my abundance. I transmute this negative energy into my success. I say those things aloud. I transmute this unnecessary hate into my power. Boom. And then I feel better. During this time, I learned a lot more tradition while making room for innovation. There was a lot more communication without attachment. What I mean by that, there was a hard realization when I was preparing my fire release for the Capricorn flower moon, which is tomorrow when I'm recording this video. I noticed not only do I have a yearning for connections, it's almost a desperation. I can almost see energetically how I'm pushing it away because I'm just like, oh, please be my friends. So I can understand why like a lot of the connections I've met of recent and stuff haven't worked out, because like there's that like, it's not even a desire, it's like an obsession, like please be my friend. It's not even specifically hoping that person is, it's just hoping I do make a friend eventually somehow. Now I'm focusing on how do people react to me. That's very telling for me. If people show me excitement, welcoming, you know, curiosity, openness, then I know I want to focus my attention more on that. If I know people are more like giving me short replies, not looking at me, just really try not to engage with me, or even trying to be smarter than me or talk down on anything I'm experiencing, then I just know that's not where I want to continue. I'll be like, okay, this is what I'm feeling in this moment, and I just won't continue that. It's really genius to have back and forth conversations with yourself. I am owning that this season. I've always enjoyed that about myself, to be honest. Now I'm really just being like, no, if I'm not going to be able to have these conversations with people around me just yet, I'm going to enjoy the ones I have with myself at least. And I make myself laugh. I really do. I'm hilarious. Really allowed unfiltered curiosity to lead the way. Anytime I was like, what's that? Search, expand. And it's just so fun, first of all, and I'm so grateful to be able to have so many things to give me access to information without, you know, school. I don't want to negate school. I understand how it's important, but I think right now with a lot of corruption, I just don't respect schools, institutions that are here right now. I do respect the process of school, which is why I love to learn. I'm very open to having a mentor, finding one, or just like learning with other people. Like I'm very open to it. I'm trying to find people. I am actually. I also think that might be a desperation. Me trying to be like, I'm trying to be around people. I think that's desperate. I think I'm noticing a lot of desperate things going into Cancer season as I'm trying to take care of my inner world. Girl, you're like clinging to this, and that's just stuff I'm being aware of as I'm going into the new season. Seeing people as their zodiac signs to be able to collaborate with them in undesired circumstances. Usually I mean the people I'm living with, the roommates. What's helping me right now is just observing them and being around them as their zodiac sign. When I do this, I'm doing it purely as an archetype. With the Capricorn, I'm seeing it as that energy is reminding me to stay on my hard work, vision that I'm working diligently towards. I am doing the sea goat thing with my work. I am taking something from a manifestation from the sea and I'm building it like a mountain, or building it to climb a mountain like a goat. The energy I'm taking from that. Then with the Virgo, I'm taking it as I'm perfecting the skills of me. I truly feel like I'm doing with my devotional work, with my daily spiritual practices, with how I'm learning and expanding. I can really see that's how I'm perfecting my skills. I'm gonna take it for that. I'm gonna just enjoy the fact that I don't have earth energy directly in me, like as in my birth up, as in my big 3, big 6 actually. That type of air and mutable energy from Gemini is something I can say I'm really grateful I took on. It's really fun, kind of shape-shifting into different zodiac energies every sun season, allowing myself to grow in different areas and seeing myself be patient with different areas of my life instead of just being like, oh, I need to just work on everything, which is something I used to say often. I used to think everything was wrong with me. Fixing myself was always on my mind. Being able to see it like this and enjoying it, I no longer see it as fixing. I see myself as expanding in a very pie chart way. If you're a Gemini drop it below. If you have any fun facts you'd like to share about Geminis, please drop it below. I love to learn through other people as well. Happy spring season. This really concludes planting seeds, making sure the soil is good, taking care of the initial steps. I enjoy doing these videos so much. Process and reflection. I need to do everything all at once and then enjoy life after that. Oh my god, I'm calling myself out on such a good way. I'm enjoying the process, you guys. Doing these videos actually helped me enjoy the process. I was very pressured on myself on making something of myself right away and doing something big all the time and all those things and proving myself. Now, just learning about myself little by little and just seeing life like this, it actually makes me feel like time is so much more vast. Life is so much more limitless because I'm focusing on the little bits, my little steps instead of that big vision only. Proud of my growth. I'm giving big reverence to it for sure. Hope this encourages you guys to be more curious about your own life. Hope my curiosity about my own life makes you curious about your own life and starts from there. If you want to use astrology, let me help you by enjoying these videos. See how I did it, or if you want a clearer way about how to use astrology into your days the way I do, reflections the way I do. I also provide a new service. Oh my gosh, this is the first time I'm sharing it. I feel so called to though. I didn't know any other word to say this. Spiritual guide. This is weekly check-ins, divination pulls for you, and me deciphering them with you. Journal prompts and reflections together. Moments of you, allowing you to share with me what you want to open up into the world. I will be that first source to help you do that. Service is for anyone, but it is best suited for people who are interested in astrology, spirituality, and divination, because that is what is part of my offerings. I don't want to just take something out just to fit it only to others, because this is something that genuinely lights me up and is something I'm also enjoying learning through. To limit my offerings makes me feel limited, and in my growth it's just not something I want to do right now. Interested in expanding through esoteric knowledge, hit me up. I will definitely be very open to helping you. I am really excited to share that with y'all. Personally, I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of my time in terms of how old I am. My skills, my gifts, I know are not ahead of its time in terms of what is needed in the world right now. How I want to be of service in the world, how I want to use my skills to be of service in the world, what lights me up doing it, so I can be a continuous fountain for this service to be in this world. Yellow butterfly. Now I have the full confidence to say this is what I want to do, to say who this is what I want to be. And I know I've tried so many different things and the confidence came with it, and that's all a learning experience for me. That's how I felt at the time. That's what I thought I wanted to do at the time. It didn't work out, and that's what it was. Excited for this new chapter of mine. Let's see how summer season is gonna look. I hope your spring season was very beautiful and planting seeds, growth filling. Let me know what seeds you feel comfy sharing, or anything that you feel comfy sharing within your spring season. I would love to know. How is your spring? How is your spring? Cancer season. Grab moment. Shell. I outgrew my old shell. Have formed a new one. I've been trying to integrate into this new space and still lead with my heart, still lead with my emotional intuition. My intuition. It's a little bit loud in here because I have 3 fans going on. It's hot. It's hot. Cancer for me is in my 10th house. 10th house is the house of your midheaven. This is your reputation, your status, your vocational skills put to work. This is mostly shown in your workspace. This is a highlighted part, but it also shows the role you have at home. Say you have a big family, it'll be more apparent of this. If you live alone, like, you can also observe the way you take care of your space. How you are in that space shows up in how you are at work too, hopefully. Having that be highlighted for me at this time, I did have a slight expectation that I would see change around concerning my career, hoping that by this time or by the end of the season, I would just know for sure what's gonna make me money, what I'm meant to do here, provides that type of material security for me. Because I was kind of holding on to that for the whole time, constant learning lessons instead. Also know I want to make money doing what I love, doing me, doing everything I'm creating. I want that to be part of my career as well. How can I blend the two together? I don't want to push tarot readings. This period for me was actually figuring that out. Every day, how can I put these two together? It wasn't that. It was actually like a trial and error of days experiences. I had moments where I wanted to focus more on what's gonna get me money, what's gonna get me money, and then I had days where I was focused on just my creations, no idea, no thoughts of, you know, money at all. Figure out like what I'm meant to be doing, and you know, it's hard to put into words, but I think I figured it out, even as I'm talking right now. What I'm meant to really shine through is simply being myself. In a world where it's really easy to be conforming to the status quo, conforming to everyone else's expectations of you, down to your family, down to your friends, not wanting to truly be yourself, I truly think who I am right now and how confident I am in that is meant to be the thing that helps me in my career. I know I'm meant to be a guide. I know I'm meant to be a life guide of some sorts, spiritual guide of some sorts. A significant illumination at this time, Capricorn strawberry moon. This is very important because we also end Cancer season with another Capricorn full moon. Whatever is happening at this time, an entry point or highlight, spotlight, beginning of a big releasing. Capricorn, I did assume something more tangible was gonna be released, something more tangible was gonna change. Capricorn is in my 4th house though, and 4th house is the house of your nadir, your inner world, and how you set boundaries. That part was really prevalent. I was actually able to set the strongest boundary to the person I live with. At this time, there's nothing that wants me to keep this aligned, and not in a ways of I want to just burn the bridge and a connection. It's at this point where I know mentally, emotionally, intellectually, this is just not a connection for me anymore. It was when I first came here, and now it isn't. I had to be so real with myself and not sit in a comfort zone where I just wanted to be complaining negative and not do anything about it. And that's really important about boundaries. How long are you gonna let yourself be bothered before you change a situation for yourself? Or how much are you gonna let someone else impact you and allow it to happen and become resentful to them and then yourself for not speaking up? So much to boundaries, but my freaking therapist helped me set boundaries, and ever since it's just always been on my mind ever since I've known that something feels off in a connection. I'm grateful that I spoke up. I'm grateful I stood on my boundaries, because there was a moment where I was starting to feel bad. I was starting to feel guilty for moving on. I was starting to feel shame for, sharing a fucking house with someone and not talking to them. Like I was starting to feel so weird about it all. And when they tried to re-enter, it reminded me of all the times people felt like it was okay to treat me like shit or treat me not up to my standards, how I need, and like be fleeing in and out. It reminded me of that exact situation, and I was like, no, I need to stop this cycle for myself. I need to stop the fact that people feel free to be in and out like that and not come correct the first time. I come correct to you the first time. I expect that standard to me. So when people try to play in my face and I know it's obvious, like, you're out of here. It came with a lot of like heaviness for me. It just reminded me of my family, boundaries with my family during this time, giving them exactly what they give me. My family don't acknowledge a lot of what I do. Even the other day, my dad asked us all like in the group chat, like, what are you guys up to? Because he took my sisters to the park. It was actually a really cute moment. My little sister fucking knows how to ride a bike without freaking oh shoot, I can't remember the name, but the helpers of the bikes. She just turned 8. New skill unlocked when she turned 8. So I love that for her. When my dad asked like what my brother and I were doing, I sent him a video of what I was doing because he was sending pictures of what they were doing. So I sent him a video of what I was doing, and at the time I was writing in my journal at a park. No one said anything about that. No one acknowledged my video at all. My brother just said what he said, and then that was the end of the conversation. My dad didn't acknowledge both of us. And they talk about work all the time. Brother talking about work is not a new thing. But for me, I'm just like, damn, you guys haven't seen me in years. I'm showing you guys what I'm doing, and you guys don't even care to say anything. I was starting to feel like that with this person. Like I would show him things I was doing. I would show him things I was accomplishing, and it was just like, oh, you do so much. Oh. And I can tell it's an insecurity. I can tell something's happening on a subconscious level for them. You guys can't handle me. You guys can't handle me. And I have to accept that for myself. Bigger than this. My energy is bigger than this. The releasing came with that heavily. I usually say something, I'm like, hey, this is not cool. I don't like this. Please don't do this again. Time goes on, things happen, whatever. Good moments happen, whatever. And then it happens again. Just when I said bigger for this room, my iPhone storage went off. I make content. I'm a content creator. Delete every day. Delete on my TikTok. Delete, like, bring everything down. Delete every night at this point. It gives me like a freaking visual. Content is too big for this phone. I have the iPhone 11, but she's 64 gig, and that's the part that pisses me off. I'm excited to get an external hard drive. I think about it every time I get triggered by this thing. What I did try to focus on in terms of boundaries and my own space was being grateful for this room. Every time I felt like I had a complaint about the house, even when I had a complaint about this room, complaint would be, I'm only in this room. I eat in here, I journal in here. Sometimes I get so annoyed. The way my journal will be angled based on where I am on the bed, make it look ugly how I write, it'll trigger me. Frick! I'm so excited for a freaking office. I'm so excited for a desk. I am grateful for this room. So grateful for my homeless journey because it humbles me every time I feel like I want more. When I was about to be in that spiral about wanting a desk, I was like, girl, you didn't even have a room last year. I will remind myself every time. I'm just like, take it, own it, be happy with it, because you know you're going towards more, and what you want, enjoy this, because this is not what you had last year. I know it'll humble me for life. How I felt in my homeless experience, I remember my anger when I felt like I had nothing, when I felt like I lost everything. I remember how I felt. Not in a mean way, but I'm like, girl, you're spoiling. You're being spoiled. You're being a brat right now. You're being a brat. There's an under-consumption core trend going on, and I love that because there's so many things I own that is like 5 years old, 10 years old. This blanket I've had ever since I was 7. I'm turning 28 in 2 days. And she got all this to say with me. What do you mean? A lot in terms of how I view external success, external desires. Of course there's things I want. I want a life of luxury. A life of luxury is for me, 100%. That's why I see it so much. I got this scrunchie for $1 and I freaking love it. I have value to things. The way I view stuff has changed so much. Highlight how much I trust myself when it comes to other people. No longer letting myself be swayed by someone else's opinion about someone I know is hurting me. There's been so many times in my past where I would tell someone, my friend, that hey, another friend is treating me like shit, like they're doing this XYZ to me, blah blah blah, and then that person would start defending that person. So used to that kind of dynamic, start kind of feeling like gaslighted and gaslighting myself all of a sudden. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe that wasn't a bad situation, maybe they weren't such a bad person, this person is advocating for them so hard, I like this person, don't I? Now I'm just like, no, I know how I feel, I know how I was treated. Just because you had a good experience with them doesn't mean I did. Interfaith pagan temple that I was part of a couple months ago, newer one compared to the one I started with in Reno, they started changing their dynamic towards me, and I can tell because I can match them. Match what they're teaching in terms of I bring in knowledge as well. I bring in the same leadership energy as well. But I'm not trying to be the leader there. But I know I can provide a lot. So when we have like open discussions, I'm very involved in the open discussion. The leaders of this temple are not used to that dynamic. They're used to being the ones telling, teaching, showing people the way, and having people be like, oh, that's right, thank you. They're not used to people being like, oh, but, and here's more to that. I can just tell it started to spark an insecurity for them. When I was sharing my experience, it felt like, no, but they're so nice, they help me. And I'm like, okay, that's your experience. Don't listen to me then. Letting you know my experience, and I'm just gonna take it for what it is. I believe me. That's all I need now. When I really rested and truly laid horizontal for hours and hours, even a full freaking day, I could say the last 2 weeks I've been more inside, more flat than I have in a very, very long time, consistently. The way that creative inspirations and ideas, all the things that I felt stuck in my story, in how I wanted to crochet my blanket, even before starting watercolor. Now I am watercoloring. And before starting my poem, I really want to paint, I really want to write poems, I really want to write more. And then as I was laying down within these last 2 weeks, there was like a surge of creativity. Now I feel even more okay in my solitude. I actually call it my cave moments. I love my cave moments. I know what I can do to fulfill my time in here. The pressure I still had for myself in so many different ways. I thought I released the strongest pressure I felt when I released my family a couple months ago, energetically. I'm starting to feel another type of pressure. Me trying to prove something of myself, that type of pressure is still inside. It's not like about my family anymore. It's now very much self-inflicted. I'm so used to the routine of pressuring myself and then working off of that pressure, waiting till burnout for me to stop. That routine in itself is a program I'm trying to like learn how to get out of. Oh, you know what visual I'm getting just now? I'm thinking of a horse that's always been in races, that's always been just like performative and always had to do stuff. Now been set free, do whatever it wants in its like own wilderness type of thing. A video recently of a horse in that experience, and that horse not knowing how to react, going in circles for the first little bit because that's just something they were so used to, even though they knew they were free. Oh my god, this is both an epiphany and a visualization. That's what it feels like for me. Oh, nothing is bounding me anymore. So used to feeling like I am, and oh, that visual is already doing something for my heart. Instantly relaxed more with that. The pressure is not out of fear anymore. I really do know that. I'm so confident about that. Why am I holding on to so much pressure? Like last night, anticipated I would have the car. The roommate didn't come at the, expected time they usually come home at. Okay, I guess I'm not gonna have the car because on Sunday, 2 days ago, I was expecting to use the car at all and then I didn't. He was out the whole day and that was like a first. In that whole time as I was waiting, getting a little bit triggered about food, jam-packing myself with tasks, like task after task. I didn't let myself rest and just sit there at all yesterday until I went for a walk. And before I went for a walk, I was even debating, but I didn't finish doing this that I said I was gonna do. I didn't do this thing that's on my to-do list today. Not even time urgent. It's not timed urgent. But I didn't do it compared to all the stuff I already did. When I saw the roommate come, at the same time I was about to be like, I don't know what to do. That was a sign for me. I was like, go outside. Don't think on your walk about what you want to do. Just go on a walk. Walks are actually they're so refreshing for me, mentally and emotionally. The moment where I finally like stop doing shit. I work from home. I'm used to working from home. All I do is stay like inside. So I associate inside with productivity, which is so on the reverse for me. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to say that. That was the opposite. My break is nature. I can take breaks inside too. I've been taking more naps. Saying my like ultimate break is being out with nature now. My walk yesterday, why was I pressuring myself to still do this? Recently, I made a new weekly schedule, which helps me be more balanced. Definitely noticed heavily that my old defenses don't work here anymore. Part of the Cancer evolution is to build up your defenses on your inner world so much that you outgrow your outer shell so you can move into a new arena, into a new environment that's suited for you more at that time. Your childhood home is not meant to be your home forever. As you grow, I've already been in that kind of space, actually ever since the start of the year, where I was starting to grow a new shell. A new shell was made, and I was peeping into this new arena. I was like, okay, how am I meant to like be here with all the things that I've recently learned and experienced with my heart? Part of the Cancer's revolution is to still lead with your heart despite knowing what you know about life. I couldn't fully see myself in this new shell until I lead with my heart again. I knew at the beginning of the year how guarded I still was. How guarded, how scared, how just self-preservation out of paranoia. How I am right now in this month, 7 months later, I can feel, no, I want to lead with my heart again. I know I'm in a new place. I know how I am is completely different. I can't say this for myself because I don't fully know, but I feel like my reputation and status has changed compared to last year, compared to 5 years ago for sure. See the differences of how I am, be in like the external environment. I'm more confident. Just having that alone shows more of myself. All I've ever wanted in this life is to be sensitive and heart on my sleeve. Been like that. But now I know how to set boundaries. Now I have discernment. Now I can still be like that because now I've gained the tools that I need to protect this heart. I know I have a big heart. I really fucking know that. I protect it, but still lead with it. Don't see the community I want around me. How I'm trying to call it in and inspire it through the overflow I feel of my heart is the comments I give to all the TikToks I see, to all the lovely posts I see. Anytime my heart feels good from someone else's posts, I tell them. I tell them it made me feel good. I tell them why it made me feel good. I tell them what came up for me. A compliment, a praise, like, fuck, you're so good at that. Good job. That's so beautiful. What you want, you must be for yourself. I want to be showered in compliments and praises and recognition. I'm giving it so I can receive it. This also shows that's the environment I want to be in. I've been so used to environments that tear each other down, that don't like to lift each other up, that compliment you enough, but they don't like when you do better. Constant environments that are so competitive like that. Now I just want to be in an environment where like, no, we lift each other up here. We want to see each other grow here. We actually help each other build. Having me be in a constant state of wanting to compliment other people shows me very clearly the environments that don't do that. Every time I wanted to emotionally react to a situation the same way I would have in the past, it literally didn't make me feel good anymore. I would have a temper tantrum and I'm like, why did I do that? Okay, I could see how hurt you felt, like inner child moment, pain, tantrum moment, but we know that's not gonna do us anything. We know that's not gonna help us in any way. It will allow you to initially feel it because that's how you want to feel. There's starting to be like less and less of that type of reactivity. Within this month, my volcano explosiveness turned into like little bubbles of lava. My emotional regulation and balance has been so heightened, more understood, correlated with my midheaven. Love observing myself astrologically. It brings in such an expansive perspective and it doesn't make you feel like you have to do everything all at once all the time. Something I forgot to mention though about having Cancer as your midheaven. Quick notes about Cancer midheavens. Nurturing motherly energy within the work. Whatever you do for work, there's like a type of care and emotional like connection towards it. I also wrote, and I will end this with, gift in connecting with others emotionally and intuitively. Not only do you know how to nurture your work, you know how to genuinely connect with others that you work with. If you work alone, there's the fact that whoever you do interact with as you work alone, Like, you're very emotional with it. Please continue to do that. In a space, in a workspace where logic, we forget that teamwork also keeps the work going. And what keeps teamwork? Emotional connection. Is actually feeling understood by each other. Logic, you can put people in places, but what if they don't even like the things that they're doing and that's not even their strengths? But how would you even know it's their strengths or weaknesses if you've never talked to them? A Cancer midheaven manager would have full conversations individually with their team, together as a team, to see where everyone is at and delegate accordingly. That's how you make the team go. If someone is having disagreements with each other, you would also address it, because it is your responsibility. You made the team. You can't complain about your team that you made. You're the one who made it. Complain about your own management skills. Thank you so much for watching another astrology video from me. I really appreciate your time and attention towards these videos. This is my passion. This is what brings me so much light. This is what keeps my fire going. Astrology and studying it is what keeps it going. That's why when I'm around people who are like, ew, astrology, ew, that's not real, I automatically know you will not want to understand me, because I know I'm passionate about this. Let's keep it going with the strong boundaries and discernment. Leading with the heart is the best gift you can give to yourself. Thank you.